is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs, a team that you guys know I like, I respect. They one of the most classiest places, one of the most hardest workers to go to San Antonio. They change people's careers. They give people longer years. They reinvent players. They push players. And they've been great for the last 20-plus years of making the playoffs and staying relevant and winning championships and being a contender. And this year, I don't think it changed unless serious injuries happen. If they don't have any serious injuries to DeMarcus Cousins or LaMarcus Aldridge, I think they will be fine this year. Only reason why I say that is because Greg Popovich can plug anybody in this system and get wins in the Western Conference. Plus, they have opportunities to beat up on weaker teams throughout the season and still compete with the good to the great teams throughout the season. And that should be enough to give them a playoff spot. Now, will they win 50? Will they win 60? We'll have to see about that. But as you guys know, I'm a person that believes that this San Antonio team will finish in that top 4. And what I mean by that is Golden State, Houston, and I think OKC, Lakers, and all them teams are all going to fight for that top 4. Whether it's I'm guaranteeing that Houston and Golden State going to be 1 and 2 in there. But when it comes to other teams, I think the San Antonio Spurs will be up there with the Lakers, up there with the Timberwolves and the Thunder and the Jazz. These are teams that people going to be 4th or 5th. I got San Antonio in there. Is I'm a San Antonio fan? No. But I do respect greatness. I do respect dominance, and that's something that they embody, and that's something that they are. Now, we all know that I was one of the first people to say this. This is a team that scrapped and fought and believed in themselves to win almost 50 games last year with Kawhi Leonard only playing 8 games. And you're getting rid of Kawhi Leonard, who didn't really play last year, and you're bringing in a back-to-back All-NBA and All-Star in DeMar DeRozan, and you're plugging them in that spot. Yes, DeMar DeRozan cannot shoot threes. Yes, he's not as efficient. Yes, he's not as great. But he's better than what they had last year, which was 8 games of Kawhi Leonard. LaMarcus Aldridge is getting older. He's not as dominant as he used to be, but when you have a player like DeMar DeRozan that can take pressure and ball handling duties, because there was a lot of LaMarcus isolation last year, now he has somebody else that he can play off of, making DeMar DeRozan's job easier, but also making LaMarcus' job easier because he don't have to worry about the double teams and traps as much, because back then LaMarcus was the only person you really had to focus on because they didn't have Kawhi Leonard last year for basically the whole season. Now you have a guy that can, create his own shot, get his own shot, score consistently 20 to 25 to 30 points a game. Remember, DeMar DeRozan averaged 27 a game for 1 point. This guy he averaged more points than Kawhi Leonard in this system. In Toronto than Kawhi Leonard ever averaged. So this guy can score against the best players. The biggest problem with DeMar DeRozan is his playoffs. He's not as dominant and not as good in the playoffs as he is in the regular season, and that has been something that has been consistent about him. And that's one thing that you can call him out on, as if they do make the playoff, can you really bank and rely on DeMar DeRozan? But I'd rather have DeMar DeRozan than Kawhi Leonard, who only played 8 games last year. He's a loyal guy. He's a hard worker. He's one of the best top 15, top 20 players in the league, and he can play. And you do have DeJounte Murray getting his All-NBA defensive team, second team this year. He's only going to get better. He's getting better offensively. He still can't shoot threes, but I think he'll eventually figure it out. He's long. He's athletic. He's lanky. He can play the one or the two. He can play on or off the ball, and he's gonna give it his all. Paul Gasol is a guy that they signed a couple seasons ago. He still can give you 5 to 7 rebounds in spurts. He still can score in the post. He still can knock down open mid-range and threes. He still can protect the rim. For his age, he's solid at that last year. They paying him $16 million. He's gonna come off the books. We're gonna see a new team. Rudy Gay is coming in back for $10 million. He getting a pay increase, but he did get better last year in the playoffs and at the end of the season. He was coming off a major Achilles injury. We didn't really know what to expect. He still has the explosiveness. He still can score. He's still a decent shooter, but he's still not that superstar player. He's only 32. He's good enough to give you at least double digits off the bench, and he's going to be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year if he can improve on the year that he had last year. He's acclimated into the system. He knows his players. He has chemistry with most of these teammates because they basically bring back the same roster. And on top of that, he can play the 2, the 3, or the 4. He can defend decently. He can space out the floor enough, and he's a guy that can play. So they brought him back, and he's going to be even better because he's going to have more time to work out because he had the whole off season since they got put out in the first round. He knows his teammates, and he should be able to have a better year than last year, and he should be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. Patty Mills is getting older. He's 30, but he still is a sniper from the three-point line. He still has become a more well-rounded scorer. He's still not a dominant scorer, but for a role player, him being able to knock down the mid-range off the dribble, even when they close out, for him to drop the ball and get a spot up mid-range or make the dump-off pass to a guy like Aldridge or Gasol in the paint, Patty Mills has expanded his game and continued to get better, but you can say that about everybody on this team. Jakob Poeltl is a guy that's 22. He still has a lot to prove. I think he's going to eventually take that Paul Gasol spot. And, when Paul Gasol making $16 million and Jakob Poeltl's on a rookie deal that I don't even think he's going to get paid that much even when he becomes a free agent, he's going to be restricted anyway. Jakob Poeltl can take Paul Gasol spots a year from now or 2 years from now, and they can just plug him in. He's going to be prepared. He's going to be under the system. He's going to know what to do. He's going to be around these players. They're going to be building the chemistry, and I think he can take that spot quickly. I think he can even do it this year, but he's a solid center. He's young, and he can very well be a starting center in this NBA, just not right now. Lonnie Walker is a guy that a lot of people are hyped up on. He had a decent summer league. He's one of the better college players. He's in a system where he can shoot the spot up mid-range, get out in transition, get layups and dunks, shoot the spot up three, get some layups and some dunks because of the system. I think Lonnie Walker is all about building confidence. He's only 19 years old. It's about fixing his shot, making him more consistent, and basically trying to find ways to expand his game. But he is a rookie. I don't really expect him to get that much playing time, but if he do, it's only going to be 15 minutes. I do see him getting 20 minutes to 25 if somebody get a major injury, but they have so many guards on this team like DeJounte Murray, like Patty Mills, even players like Forbes, Marco Bellinelli. I see all of them getting more minutes than Lonnie Walker. I think that that's going to help him because he can work more on his game and work on more of the transition to the NBA and not really have to be focused on getting through into the fire and needed to do so much right away. I think they can develop him, take their time, and catch him up to speed and really help him in practice to get to where they want him to be in the next 2 to 3 years. But I don't think he gets that many minutes this season, and I think he'll be fine with that because he can work on other aspects of his game. He can play in the G League possibly too to start getting into some real games and start applying what he learns in practice. Quincy Pondexter, I think, is a solid player. I told you guys, I think they picked him up for a reason. He had a lot of injuries. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, but he is a role player that's going to come in and be a professional, show up on time, help the young guys out. He's going to give them floor space, and he's going to give them a guy that can play the 2 or the 3 and play off the ball and give them more weapons if injuries happen, but also he's going to be a guy that can come in and contribute no matter what lineup he's in, no matter what position they play him at, and he's going to be fine. Marco Bellinelli is a guy that was one of the better things that happened to the Sixers. He was a perfect fit um, with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I'm surprised that he left, especially since he only got paid 16 million. I mean 6 million. He should have definitely stayed in Philly, but he's going to have an opportunity to have another great season because he already played with the Spurs. He already knows the system, and he has become a better shooter than me the last couple years. He's been able to knock down tougher shots. He's been able to knock down more contested shots these last 2 years, and he's still a great three-point shooter. He's a guy that you can plug in at multiple positions, and he's going to give you a lot of things offensively. He's not a great defender, never has been, but as long as he can shoot that three and shoot those mid-range and keep the defense moving because he moves on and off screen and keeps them guessing, he's a guy that you're going to consistently have to pay attention to because he's going to be a guy that can burn you if you don't pay attention to him or you leave him open. He's going to be a guy that's going to torch you consistently, and that's another weapon in the system. Obviously, Bertans, he's a good player. He can play the 4 or the 5. He can stretch out that floor and give you spot-up threes. This team is going to be very difficult. Remember, the Spurs was not one of the best three-point shooting teams this year, but they can shoot threes if they really want to. And they have Bertans. They got Patty Mills. They got Paul Gasol, who's a decent three-point shooter. They got Lonnie Walker, who can probably be a 35, possibly even lower than that, but he'd be a guy that can knock down threes. Quincy Pondexter is a decent three-point shooter when he's open. And you still have other guys that can be plugged in like Bellinelli and obviously Bertans that can do it too. Dante Cunningham is not that terrible at it either. But I think that this team has the right balance of veterans. They have the right balance of role players. They have the right balance of youth. They have guys that can play multiple positions. They have guys that can handle the ball. They have guys that can play defense on together, which means they should be one of the top 5, top 10 defensive teams. I think DeMar DeRozan comes in here inspired. I think he wants to prove that he's great. I think he wants to prove that he deserves and he can be he can be the best player on the team. Remember that Toronto team won 59 games. They won the number 1 seed the last couple years, and they honestly feel like they can beat Cleveland, but they lost. But they won 59 games as DeMar DeRozan being their best player, guys. And that was in the East. This is in the West. Plus, he got Greg Popovich. Plus, he got LaMarcus Aldridge. Plus, he got great role players. I don't see why they can't win 50 games this year. Like I said, I do have the San Antonio Spurs finishing in that top 4. Personally, I think they up there with Houston and Golden State, so I think they're in that top 3. I do think the Spurs get out of the first round. I do think they win 50 to 55 games if everybody stay healthy and they don't make a major trade. I'm just going based off this roster, how they are right now, without injuries, just going based off what Greg Popovich has done, what DeMar DeRozan was able to do in the East, consistently winning 50 games every season, and the fact that he has great teammates and great players still around him. I don't see them dropping off. They almost won 50 games without him last year, and I don't see why they can't win 50 with him this year. And on top of that, I really want to see this team play because Greg Popovich is going to be hungry. DeMar DeRozan wants to prove things. LaMarcus Aldridge still feels like he can be one of the best players on the team. And they have other guys that's still developing, and we want to see them play, and we want to see how well they have adapted and adjusted and improved their game over the last couple years. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this team is going to be overrated being a top 3 team like I think? Or do you think they'll be the 4th, 5th, or 6th, 7th, or 8th seed? Do you think they're going to barely make the playoffs? Do you think they won't make the playoffs? Do you think that DeMar DeRozan is overrated, underrated? Let me know what you guys think. I think this is one of the better teams. I think this is one of the better, well-executed and coaching teams. And I think they have enough star power and enough role players and enough shooting and enough players that play defense on both sides of the court, offensively and defensively. And I think that they should be able to grind and steal a lot of games because of coaching and because they're smarter and they don't beat themselves. And if any team gets turnovers and takes bad shots, they're going to take advantage of them and punish them by executing for 48 minutes. Can you out-execute Greg Popovich? Can you out-coach Greg Popovich? Can you do those things? And if you're able to do that, you're going to beat them. But most of the time for the last 20 years, when games are close, the Spurs was able to win them. If he put his players in the best position, he put his players in the position that they can succeed in, and he can actually run plays that can be unstoppable. Can you out execute Greg Popovich? He has the stars, he has the talent, he has two-way players, and he has length, size, and athleticism. Whether he can go big, he can go small, he can go floor spacing, he can go multiple ball handlers, and he has DeMar DeRozan, one of the best isolation and scorers, and he was able to add more passing to his game last year. That acclimates and fits right into this system because they just like I said, LaMarcus can pass from the post, but he also can score in the post. He can score in isolation. He can score within the system, and DeMar DeRozan fits that too. So I think they'd be one of the best teams in the West. I don't see why not. Only thing that can really stop them is injuries, but we've seen injuries couldn't stop them from making the playoffs last year, and I don't see why it'll stop them from winning 50 and making it to the playoffs this year. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my spread shirt in the comment section in the description below. Click the link. It's into my Facebook page. Click the link. It's into my my website, and click the link. It's into my spreadshirt. There you can find hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and other merchandise there. Thanks for supporting the brand. Thanks for supporting me. Like on Facebook, like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Watch my old videos, and let me know. Is the Spurs going to make it to the playoffs? Will they be one of the best teams in the West? Can they make it to the Western Conference Finals? Can they beat Golden State? Can they beat Houston? Can they beat the Lakers? Who's going to be in that top 4? Who you think is in that top 6? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm gone. And I do think they can get to the Western Conference Finals too. Why not? Why not?